Hello, hi, how are you? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. Hello. So today, first of all, candle of the day. This is actually really special. My sister, who wasn't able to come to Christmas because she lives in California and she hates me, she actually sent me a candle for Christmas. She sent me a bunch of gifts, but she sent me this one. It's the Himalayan handmade candle in tobacco bark. Only she works at a little boutique where this candle was like selling out like crazy, but she saved me one because she knew that I live and breathe candles. So this one's really special because my sister got it for me and I'm really excited. Hi, hello. Today's video, I'm really excited for the 28th day of GLOWMAS. Our collab is with Ready to Glare. She's actually the last collab of GLOWMAS. Ready to Glare is, oh, I love her. I found her like a really long time ago. I've been following her channel for a while. She's just cool. I feel like if we were to meet in person, she would just be the yin to my yang. She's just such a really cool, down-to-earth, dope person who makes such good content. She does this series called Veil Unlifted where she kind of does almost like video essays, and I find them so interesting. She does a lot of really good commentary too, and I think it's interesting because she's definitely one of those people, which I feel like is how a lot of people feel about me. It's like, I don't always agree with her, but I feel like she at least always presents her points in an amazing way. She's always well informed, she always thinks through her opinions and presents them in a way that is not only informed, but digestible for people to listen to. And I definitely really appreciate that from her. I think she's just such an amazing content creator. I really look up to her, and I think she has awesome tattoos that I love. I'm also like a tattooed person, even though you can't really see any of mine, but I think her sense of style is amazing. Her wigs are iconic. Like, she's amazing in general as a person. And she's also a creator who's pretty open about her mental health, which I think is so awesome because we need more creators who are more honest about mental health just so we can, you know, destigmatize it. I'll leave a link to her channel down below, and I'm also gonna play a video right here that you guys can watch so you can get a vibe of who she is.
I think I take this a little bit more personally because I've been through it the right way, not the bribery way. To begin to take the steps in the right direction, you need to take accountability. You can't just say, legally I can't talk about it, and expect people to just kind of be like, that's enough, like that's okay. I understand there are legal reasons. I just wonder if it wouldn't be possible to say that she made a mistake at all, or to even voice any kind of regret. Like, if you're not talking about the legal shit and you're just voicing how you feel about what happened, if you feel guilty, if you feel embarrassed, if you feel stupid, I would 100% appreciate that more than someone saying, can't talk about it, but I wanted to come back. Because you want to move on, I'm sure you do, because who wouldn't? This is a shit show scandal that makes you look terrible, terrible. But at the same time, making the steps in the right direction, you kind of need to bite the bullet and admit the fuck up before you can go in the right direction.
So the collab that we are doing today, we were like going back and forth. We weren't sure. We didn't know if we wanted to do like a commentary video. We didn't know if we wanted to do, but then I saw Samantha Ravndal did a video called Instagram versus Reality, where she kind of went through her Instagram feed and just discussed like pictures and what maybe Instagram saw and what was actually happening during that picture. And I kind of wanted to do that video because I thought it was just a really cool concept. I think a big trend we saw in 2019 was definitely almost this like breaking down of like influencer culture being super perfect and like amazing and like good all the time, and how social media makes everyone's lives seem like really cool, and in reality sometimes they're just not. Sometimes like things go wrong. And I think Samantha Ravndal was a really good perspective because she would be on like brand trips and she was like, I had $5 in my bank account, like I was miserable. And like I think that's good for people to know. Let's get started. It's gonna be an interesting video. I'm actually like a little nervous, I'm not gonna lie. I'm like low-key kind of nervous. So my Instagram, my Smokey Glow Instagram, is not, it doesn't go back that far, and I don't have a lot of pictures on there, and there is a reason for that. So when I started my Smokey Glow account, I started it because I started a YouTube channel and I started gaining followers, and I didn't want people following my Hannah Instagram, like my personal Instagram, because I'd had that Instagram since like 10th grade. My last name was on it. My last name was attached to it, and I didn't really want my last name to get out. I still don't. I don't know if people know my last name, but like if you do, don't tell anyone. I don't really like the idea of being doxxed. So I didn't want people to know my last name. And I also just like wanted to, you know, have like a page that was dedicated to Smokey Glow. You know what I mean? So I have my Smokey Glow Instagram, but I also have my Hannah Instagram. So now as far as online goes, I still have my personal Facebook, but pretty much everything that exists is my Smokey Glow accounts. Like that's my online presence is via Smokey Glow. So I can only actually go back so far onto my Insta. This picture is actually a throwback. So this is when I went to London in 2017. I went to London in 2017 because my sister, my older sister, my oldest one, actually got her master's degree in London and she was going back for the graduation and my parents were like, we want to take you guys, let's do like a trip to London. And we were like, sick. My dad ended up not being able to go. I don't remember why my dad wasn't there, but it was just me, my two sisters, my mom. And this trip, my sister was so stressed about graduating. So she was just stressed because she had had some negative experiences with people she was graduating with. She didn't want to see them again. So she was so stressed the whole trip and she was like kind of snippy the whole trip, which is fine. She was fine when she graduated and the rest of the trip was good. But my other sister and I were just so incredibly jet lagged and we were sharing a room and I was doing a little bit better with it than she was because like I could sleep, you know what I mean? Like I'll take some medicine and go to sleep, you know? So she would wake up, my other sister would wake up at like 3 in the morning because that's when her jet lag would kick in. She would wake up at 3 in the morning and she didn't really care that I was still sleeping in the same room. She would start like doing her hair. She's like singing Norah Jones. I was ready to freaking kill her by the end of this trip. We were like walking around and like everyone was miserable and I was the only one that was in a good mood. At this point in my life, I didn't need sleep. I was a young, spry, like 21-year-old. I was like, who's sleep? I don't know her. So I was walking around with like this big, really stereotypical tourist, big selfie stick, just like taking pictures. And like I had those sunglasses that I was just obsessed with because I thought they made me look like a Kardashian. And I woke up every day and curled my hair. And my sister made me wear those scarves because she thought I looked cute in them. I don't like scarves. She made me wear those scarves and I just felt so good. This is so funny. I met the guy I dated before I started dating Charles, who we only dated for like 3 months. It was weird, but it wasn't like a serious relationship. But I started dating him. I literally like started dating him 2 days before I left for this trip. So we started dating and I was like, okay, bye, I'm going to London. And so we were like talking through this whole trip and it was my first like boyfriend. So I was like, oh my God, I have a boyfriend, like, ugh. But like this was fun. I was the only one who had fun on this trip, I think. I think everyone else was just really stressed out and miserable the whole time because of the time zone thing. But I had a ball. I had a great time. I loved this trip. I had so much fun. And this picture I feel like is so cute and iconic. Like, ugh, I love it. So this was with, I still love Wigged.out on Instagram. Still love her. I talk to her occasionally. She's a great girl. You should follow her. I'll link her Instagram down below. She's great. She messaged me and was like, do you want to do like an Instagram collab? And I had never done an Instagram collab before. And she wanted to do an Instagram collab with the Jaclyn Hill palette. And she was like, let's do like a glam look with like a red lip. And I was like, sure. I was like, I'll film it for my channel. Like this will be great. And I did this look. This is the look I did. This is the look I did. And I felt so bad about it. I felt so insecure. I tried so hard to do like a little winged eyeliner. I tried so hard with this red lip to make my lips look bigger because I was so self-conscious on my lip look. And it doesn't help that this girl's beautiful and like so talented. So I just tried my poor eyebrows, like I didn't have them done. I put on so much highlighter. I tried so hard. And I just remember posting this and then seeing her look too and just feeling like crap because like this was a moment actually. It's so interesting thinking about this moment now because there's the tapestry that I used to have in the back of my videos because my apartment was a mess and I needed to hide it. That's like completely why there was a tapestry in some of my videos. And this was a moment where a lot of people were like definitely so nice to me in the beginning about my makeup, but this was a moment where I truly was like, I should not be doing makeup on YouTube. Like I saw her like picture and I was like, she did such a good job. Like she's so pretty. She looks so good and mine looks so bad in comparison. Like I literally remember like looking at that and being like, what am I doing? Like it was like the most imposter syndrome of imposter. I definitely like struggle with imposter syndrome a lot and I try not to, but like this was a moment of pure like, what am I doing? Because this was at a point where I was getting like probably 1,000 views a video just talking about like, it was probably like 500 to 1,000 views per video talking about makeup. At the time, that was insane. Like that was it's still an insane number of people. So I remember being like, why is anybody taking me seriously with makeup? Because I'm so bad at it. But now looking at it, I think I was way too hard on myself. Like, is it like kind of amateur? Yes. yes. But like, I think my big thing has always been like, I am kind of amateur at makeup. I always have been. I never claimed to not be. Like, I never claimed to be this like glammed goddess. And I think after I took this picture and did this collab, I kind of just like decided to embrace that about myself and be like, listen, you're never gonna be the most artistic person in the room. You just gotta keep doing what you're doing. Like, I was so self-conscious about that. So I took this selfie in Florida. It was the second time that Charles and I had gone to Florida together. I remember this trip so vividly. First of all, I did like a full beat. It was Florida. It was like 100 degrees, but whatever. This trip actually ended up being like awful. It was so bad. And it wasn't really anyone's fault. Charles ended up, something happened with his foot and his leg where he was literally like immobile. Like we were walking around Disney and all of a sudden he just like hurt himself and that he couldn't walk. Like he literally couldn't walk. Like we had to leave the park super early that day and we couldn't go for the second day that we had planned to because he literally couldn't walk. Like he couldn't walk around, couldn't move his leg. Like his leg was hurt. And this day was the day that I was like, we're just gonna stay at the hotel and rest it and then we'll try to do something else the next day. And we couldn't because it kept getting worse and worse and worse. This was the first time I've ever seen him cry. Literally, he was trying to get out of the car and he couldn't. His leg hurt so bad and it just like, I had to try to like carry him up to the hotel room. It was awful. And then we had to go to the emergency room because there's a certain medication he takes for his nerve disease that makes it so he's pretty prone to like blood clots. So we were like, we have to make sure this isn't a blood clot. So we went to the Orlando emergency room and it was, I'm not kidding you. They told us, they were like, this is gonna be like a 15-hour wait in the waiting room. Like you're gonna be in the waiting room before anybody sees you for 15 hours. And at that point it was like 4 a.m. So we were like, are you joking? They were like, no. And it was packed. There wasn't even a seat. Like they had to give him a wheelchair so he could sit down. There was nothing. We ended up having to leave that waiting room. And also we both have like, Charles doesn't have really as much like generalized anxiety as I do, but he does have health anxiety, which I think is totally valid. And so he is really anxious and he's freaking out. And the whole time he's like, I'm never going back to Florida. I'm never coming back to Florida because he was so mad about the emergency room. We called like every emergency room and all of them had like minimum 10-hour waits. So we ended up going to this like urgent care type emergency room that got us in really fast. But the doctors like didn't really, like they didn't even check for a blood clot. They like didn't really know. They thought maybe it was just his nerve disease acting up, but he was like, no, that's not what it is. We ended up having to leave early. We had to leave Florida early and like we were driving. So it's a 2-day drive. So we left Florida early and had a 2-day drive back to New York State, which if you ever have thought you had a blood clot, sitting in a car for 2 days seems pretty freaking horrifying. So we were driving the whole time. We were both nervous. We got back. It ended up being something, I don't remember what actually was wrong with him. Something serious was wrong with him, but like he was fine. He just had to go to his neurologist and like they had to put him on medicine. He was fine. But like that trip was, and I remember trying to like, cause we couldn't go to Disney the second day. So I remember I bought a Medieval Times tickets to go to Medieval Times in Orlando and we went and we tried to have fun, but like he was in so much pain and he was so miserable. And I remember taking this little selfie with all my makeup caked on. Ugh, man. Memories. Oh, this is so cute. So a lot of you guys probably don't know this actually, because I think I posted that story time a really long time ago at this point, but I have a story time on my channel talking about my time in Nepal. I lived there for a few months back when I was 19. And this is a picture of me at the top of one of the Annapurna, not the top, obviously, like it was like a low level top, but I was like high up. This was me in the mountains of the Annapurna mountain range, which Nepal is kind of like, there's Mount Everest on one side and there's the Annapurna on the other. And I was in the Annapurnas. I love this picture. I'll never forget this moment. This was, okay, so full disclosure, I did not go to Nepal with the intention of doing like a hike. Like that really was not my intention. I know that's why people go to Nepal. I didn't really know that's why people went to Nepal when I first went. Oh, you can hear more about it in the story, but I did this. So when I got there, I met these 2 other people from Australia and they were close and they were like, you want to do a trek? Do you want to come with us on this trek? Because it's the more people you can get to do the trek, the cheaper it is. And they were like, we're going to go through this company. We're going to have a guide. So that way we have somebody who can like guide us through the mountains or whatever. And they were like, it's only going to be 3 days. Like it's going to be fine. And I was like, yeah, sure. And we started this hike and I was not physically in the place where I could have done this hike. Like, it's a freaking miracle I ended up here. We walked for 14 hours the first day to get to where we needed to be. We walked for maybe it was 12. It was either 12 or 14 hours. It was something ridiculously long. And it's all pretty much uphill. It's either like you're going straight or you're going uphill. There's not a lot of breaks. I was just so, by the end of this, like, I thought I was gonna die so many times just because I was like, I hadn't like climbed a mountain in forever. And this was just so much work. Like, it was so tiring, and I felt so bad for the people with me because I was so much slower than them. I was so self-conscious about how much slower I was. They were so nice about it. And we finally got to the top and we like ate dinner super fast and I just passed out. And then I remember being woken up at 3 in the morning because my travel companion, one of them, was absolutely just puking his guts out in the bathroom, puking his guts out, literally like throwing up. Me and this other girl that I was with, we were both like, oh my God, what's wrong? Like, how do we help you? And we're trying to help him. And he's just puking. So we had to wait till the morning because we didn't know if we could just like go and wake up the guide for that. We should have just woken her up, but we didn't know if we could. And we're also on top of a mountain. So like, what's really gonna happen? So we wake up and it was the morning and it was sunrise when this picture happened. And the girl, her name was Chanel, she was like, Hannah, you have to, and I was so tired because I only slept like 3 hours because we were helping him all night. So I was exhausted and I just trekked both the day before. I was so tired. She's like, Hannah, you have to come see this view because when we got there at night, we couldn't see these mountains. She's like, you have to come see this view. And I was like, no, I'm tired. And she was like, Hannah, you're gonna regret it for the rest of your life if you don't come outside right now. And so I begrudgingly dragged myself out of bed, and like the view that was this view literally like woke me up. It was stronger than any coffee I've ever drank in my life. Like, it literally woke me up so much. It was one of the most beautiful things. I still can't put into words because the pictures just don't do justice to how beautiful this was, especially once the sun started like hitting the mountain. One of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my entire life. And also this trek was big for me. I ended up having to go back to the town, and then we finished the second part of the trek a day later. So we had to like go back down and then go all the way back up and then come all the way back down. We ended up doing that because my friend had to be in the hospital for a couple days, in a poly hospital. But this trek was really big for me because it definitely proved a lot of things to me, that I was able to do things I didn't think I could do. Does that make sense? Like, for a long time, like, this was like a mantra in my brain of like, you literally like trekked up a mountain in Asia. Like, you're so good. Like I would remind myself of this moment of like that feeling of just like pure amazement in myself that I was able to accomplish something so dope by doing this. That was a huge thing for me. Nepal was that was a life-changing trip for me, 100%. That definitely changed my entire life. But yeah, this is really cool. It's cool looking at this picture. This is a picture of me and my friend Amber, and we're at the Governor's Ball Music Festival. Oh man, this was the last time I went to Gov Ball, and it was the first time I went with Charles. There's actually kind of a cute story behind it because Charles and I had actually gone to Gov Ball the year before, but we weren't dating yet. We met on Tinder like 4 days after we both got back from the first Gov Ball. So we were there at the same time, and in one of my videos, he's in one of my videos. He's like in the front ahead of me in one of my videos at the stage. So we were actually both at Gov Ball at the same time, which is kind of funny. So we went back a year later with my friends and we were both there again, but this time we were like together. I had a good time at this Gov Ball. This is the one where we only went for a day. We only went to go see Phoenix because that's really the only band we wanted to see that year. We only went for the day. I do remember that I look very happy in this picture, but this was at a time when my anxiety was pretty bad this summer. It was not doing well. I was not doing well. And so I look very happy in this picture, but I vividly remember being very, very anxious and just being like not okay. And I remember Charles like wanted to go see another band. So he did. Me and my friends wanted to go stand and wait for Phoenix. We're standing and waiting for Phoenix. And I remember like looking around and just feeling like so unsafe, just feeling like so scared and so unsafe and like not good. And I turned to my friend Zach, who, there's two Zachs, but he's like the taller, skinnier one. Turned to him and I was like, I cannot do this. Like, I was like I was really, really losing my mind. Like, I was so scared. I just didn't feel safe. I didn't like being in the crowd. And that was the first time that it ever happened to me at a music festival, because normally at music festivals, I loved being in the crowd. I loved like jamming out. Like, I loved it. I was so scared. And so I looked at him and I was like, I can't do this. And he was like, go. He was like, you can go. He's like, nobody's gonna be mad at you. Like, go ahead. So I left. I bailed. I like went off by myself. I like sat on this hill. There's this hill where you can see the main stage. I called Charles like 10 times times because I wanted to like try to meet up with him. We were able to meet up and we ended up having a really good time after that. He like really enhanced my mood because he took me to, first of all, he took me to get water, which I desperately needed. Then he also took me, we kind of bounced back and forth. Childish Gambino and Phoenix were playing at the same time. So we kind of bounced back and forth between the two bands. We had a lot of fun. I loved how my makeup looked. I remember I did so much glitter that day. Like all of my friends, we had so much fun. I loved that. Okay, this isn't a picture of me. This is a picture of a desk. However, I feel, okay, so when we first moved into our new apartment, what I was using for a desk was this old black desk that I had that it was like from Target. It was like a black desk from Target. And I had a bunch of like plastic organizers to hold my makeup in, but my makeup is heavy and plastic organizers are not really meant for like really heavy stuff. So I had all my makeup in these plastic organizers with this little like black desk that was so small and like didn't give me enough space to do everything. I begged my parents for my birthday. The only thing I really want is this IKEA Alex desk. And it was the 6-foot like Linman tabletop with the Alex drawers. It's like what every beauty guru had at the time. This is like what everybody had. And I remember this desk got delivered finally. And it's funny because even Charles like knew that I was miserable with the way things were set up. Like he walked in the room one day and he was like seeing me trying to organize things so that way the plastic organizer wouldn't like fall over every time I opened it. And he was like, you know, I see why you hate this. He was like, I see why you're miserable. And he like never acknowledges my complaining. So for him to acknowledge that it was like not a good setup for me was like really nice. So I ended up getting this. It was the long tabletop and then the 2 Alex drawers, and this was just like so cool. It was so cool. I cried, like I really cried because I felt like it was, I had my little ring light, my little camera, my dinky little camcorder that I'd started with, but this was the first time I looked at my setup. I'm looking at this picture right now, it's making me emotional because this was the first time I looked at my setup and I was like, oh my god, I'm a beauty YouTuber. I'm a real YouTuber. Like I was only at like, I think I was at like 3,500 subs at this point, but I just like a YouTuber. I felt like I had a legit setup. I felt like everything looked so pretty and so cute, and I was able to like organize the drawers and like all this. And now thinking about how my setup is now, I have this like L-shaped thing going on and like a whole thing over here for lights, and like now thinking about it, it's like so surreal to see something like this. Like, oh yeah, I still have the desk though. I use this one. I'm probably gonna have this desk forever. I love it. I love how big it is. I love how much you can put on it. So this picture is actually kind of funny. So this picture is a picture of me in Washington DC at a Starbucks, neglecting my vacation to do YouTube. I wanted to bring this up because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, you're so like balanced, like you balance everything so well, like how do you do it? How do you balance school and a boyfriend and YouTube? And the answer is, at first especially, not well. I was not balancing things well. Charles and I were here supposed to be like on vacation. We were supposed to meet my family for lunch, but I wouldn't leave the Starbucks until my video was uploaded. Like I was like, we sat at the Starbucks for like 2 hours and he was so mad at me because he was like, we gotta go meet your parents. And I told him, I was like, okay, I'll just let it upload as long as it can. And if it doesn't get uploaded, it doesn't get uploaded. And I was like, it was so close. It kept being like, oh, it's gonna upload, it's gonna upload. And then it just wouldn't. And so he was really mad at me. My sister actually took this picture of me without me knowing. And then I posted it because I thought it was cute. But this was a time when I was not like balancing things well. Like I was balancing like school and YouTube. Okay, like I was doing that. But I definitely wasn't balancing like my relationships and like free time and like self-care. Like I wasn't doing those things. I was really just hyper focused on the like YouTube aspect, especially at this point because I believe I was on, yeah, it was in July. So I was on summer break. So I was really focused on YouTube. That's like all I thought about. Yeah, that was not a good, it was a bad time. Charles, at the end of the day, Charles really, the reason he wanted me to do YouTube in the first place was because he felt like I didn't have a hobby. Like he felt like he had hobbies and he did his video games and he had all these things and he felt like I didn't have that, which I didn't. It's like 100% the truth. My hobby was like YouTube, watching YouTube. So he encouraged me to start my YouTube channel because he was like, well, at the very least it'll give you something to do. Like he didn't ever think this was gonna be what it is. He never thought that. He just was kind of like, I want you to do something while I play video games so you can stop bothering me. And then I got almost like too wrapped up in it to the point where I was like not taking care of myself properly. Example is this picture of like neglecting everything else in my life to like upload. And now I think I found a very good balance between uploading and treating YouTube with the seriousness that it needs to be treated in order to keep growing my channel, and self-care and taking care of myself and knowing when not to push myself and knowing when sometimes I just need to like hang out with my family and things like that. that. So, oh, this picture, this is kind of a throwback. I actually talked about this in the caption, but I went through a phase earlier this year and like late last year where I really struggled with self-esteem and self-confidence. And I think I'd be lying if I said a large part of that wasn't due to YouTube. I think I was starting to receive more negative comments and more hate, and I was starting to have to edit myself every single day with those hate comments sort of echoing in my brain of like, your chin's just super ugly, like your voice is so annoying, like, and I would have to edit myself and hear myself and see all the things that people were saying on a screen. And that is like not a good thing a person should do. Like, it's not really healthy to do that, because I was watching all my videos from the perspective of somebody who hated me, and I was just making myself so miserable. I hated how I looked. I was so self-conscious about how I looked. I was so like insecure. I didn't want to ever I used to be the queen of selfies. I took selfies all the time. I never wanted to take any selfies. I never wanted to film because I felt so ugly every time I had to edit the videos. Like, I just felt horrible. And I talked about that in that post, and I don't think I was entirely authentic. I don't think I talked about like the reasoning behind it. And maybe even at the time I was like unaware that was doing that to me. Like, maybe I was unaware that mean things that were being said were affecting me as much as they were, but they absolutely were. Like, looking back, like, I was not in a healthy place as a result of those. And I think that's like a thing that is really difficult about YouTube in general. And I think I've kind of touched on it in other videos, obviously, but I don't think people talk about that side of it enough, where it's like, you can say that things don't bother you and you can have them legitimately like shake off and like whatever. Like, there's always that little nagging voice in the back of your head that's like, your chin is fucking disgusting. You're so fake. Like, you always have that in the back of your brain when you edit videos sometimes. And it can be difficult. It can make you like legitimately not like yourself. Like, it can really destroy your self-esteem. I'm really glad that I have people in my life that help me like laugh shit off, because if I didn't, I don't think I would have kept doing YouTube. Truly. I think I would have probably quit, because if I didn't have people to like vent to or people to laugh about things with, there's no way I would have kept doing it. It was way too much at first, but I definitely have found a really good balance between number one, just not seeking it out, and number two, not like necessarily reading those comments, and number three, finding humor in them. I think that's the best thing you can do, is just find humor in those things. And just, you know, my mom told me, which is a very Beyonce thing to say, but my mom was like, the best revenge is success. And I was like, you're absolutely right. Oh, this picture. I love this picture. So this was the day I got my car. My first car. This was like a proud adulting moment for me. I got a car, and it was my first car that I had like bought myself. I took out a car loan. I have a car payment now, and it was a Buick Encore, and I was so incredibly proud of myself. I had saved up for months to do like a large down payment so I could I could pay less, basically. I was so proud of this, and I made Charles take this picture. He hates taking pictures of me. Even in the privacy of our own driveway, he hates taking pictures of me because he was nervous the neighbors were gonna think we were weird. But I was just so like, this moment is like truly like one of the proudest moments of my life. Like, this kind of marked true financial independence for me, which I know a lot of people achieve that a lot earlier in life. My journey was definitely a lot different, but this was like true full financial independence. Like, buying this car was like a statement to myself that like, you're now a financially independent person, basically. And I'm so proud of that car. Every time I get in that car, I'm like, hello, beautiful. How are you today? I literally like, I'm obsessed with my car. I love it so much. Okay, so this picture is actually me with my this is recent. This is my 100,000 subscriber plaque. Man, so this was a day. I was just like, I filmed a video opening my play button because a lot of you guys wanted a video opening the play button, and I understand why you wanted that, but I legitimately, this is so embarrassing. The footage was honestly too embarrassing. I was reading that stupid like letter that Susan sends you about like how big of a milestone this is, and at the end of it, it was like, you'll be at 1 million subscribers in no time. I've never cried like that in front of a camera before. I was hysterically crying, like, and I don't even know why. I think I didn't even cry that hard when I actually hit 100,000. Like, when I saw it on the screen, I didn't even cry that hard. I literally was just like sobbing reading that letter, and Charles was like, what is wrong with you? He was like, it's literally like, you already did the thing. Like, this is just your like thing for getting getting it. And I was like, I know, but like, I think what hit me when I was reading it, so this was after, we took this picture after I'd been crying. So if you look into my eyes, I have total cry eyes. Like they're all puffy and red and like I was sobbing. And Charles took this picture of me because he was like, I want to post about it on Facebook. So we took that picture of me. I think what hit me in that moment was there was just this moment of me being like, I have seen so many creators open these play boxes on their channels and read this letter from YouTube out loud, and now this is my reality. Like it was like a moment of pure, like everything sunk in of like, this is real. Like I know that sounds weird because I know it's been like happening this past year, but there was just this crazy moment of like, you really are doing this right now. Like you are doing what you have seen all of your favorite and successful creators do, which is read this freaking letter on their channel and open this play button. And I like just couldn't even like believe it. Like I couldn't even, like, it was like that. I'm gonna cry again talking about it. I don't know why it makes me so emotional. I really don't, because like in reality it shouldn't. It's just a piece of metal at the end of the day. But like it truly made me so emotional and I was just crying so much. And I've never been, again, it's kind of similar with the car, like it signified something for me and it was something that I was so incredibly proud of and had literally at that point only dreamed of achieving. To achieve it and like have it, and still every time I look at this play button I want to cry because even though it has a dent in it, YouTube, what's up? I'm just kidding. It does have a dent in it though. But every time I look at it, I want to cry because I'm just like, how did that happen? So this picture is really sweet because I was sobbing right before. Finally, this is my most recent picture. This is the promo shots for the Smokey Glow Times Midas Cosmetic palette collab that is coming out in January. There's so much I want to say about this. Man, posting this was probably the most, like posting this picture, because we'd planned it. We'd planned the announce of when we were going to launch. We were going to announce that we were doing it. We were like, we're gonna do Christmas Day, 10 p.m. my time. And we had been talking about it and I had everything set to go, ready to be posted right at 10 p.m. I posted it and got this instant, like, just like wave of like, this is happening. Like that's kind of been the theme of this year for me, was like, there have been so many moments where I'm just like, this is happening. Like this is really and truly happening. Like, oh my God, this is happening to you. Like this is your life. Like it's so hard to comprehend sometimes that it's like, this is your life. Like you have a palette that has your name on it. And actually, I still can't show you the inside, but this is a palette with my name on it. And that's crazy. Like that's the most that is the most insane thing that has ever existed. Like this is a sparkly glittery palette with my name on it. Like it's so cool. And it was so cool because I thought there's always that kind of nervous feeling when you do something like this, even though I've never really done it. But when I put out merch sometimes, I'm like, what if nobody buys it? Like what if nobody likes it? Like what if nobody wants it? You know what I mean? And it's like, do I really like have people that are excited about stuff that I would put out like that? You know what I mean? Because I'm still at a weird number where it's like, I'm not like, you know, I'm not like Shane Dawson conspiracy theory palette, but I also have like a pretty, like 100,000 people is a lot of freaking people. I think we're at 120 now. So it's like to have that and then to see the response on all of my social medias across the board, because I posted it on the YouTube community tab, I posted it on Instagram, posted it on Twitter, to see this reaction from you guys, like reposting it on your stories, retweeting it, saying you're so excited, like all of the likes. This is probably my most liked picture ever in this amount of time. It's at like 4,000 likes in the first like 2 days, which has never happened to me before. Seeing how many comments I had, seeing how many people were just like truly so excited about it, and just not even seeing the inside yet, but just being happy for me. Like even if you don't buy it, just like being really genuinely happy for me and this opportunity and like what it meant to me. That is something I can never express enough gratitude for, that you guys were just like so hyped for me. Like that, I feel like you guys, I wish you guys could have seen me behind the scenes when like this was getting posted, and like Charles and I felt like we were literally in like command center, like we were like checking everything and like seeing what everybody was saying and like figuring it out. And it was just such an overwhelmingly positive night. Like I hardly got any negative comments about it. Like everybody was genuinely, whether you wanted to buy it or not, you were like just genuinely happy for me. And that was like the coolest, most surreal moment so far of me doing YouTube, really. Like knowing that this is something that I've worked really hard on for the past few months, and that was so hard to keep a secret from you guys. And I kept hinting at it because I just wanted to tell people. Like knowing all of those things just was so, it was so cool. I wish I had filmed it. Like I wish I had filmed the aftermath of posting that, because I was the most happy I've been in so long. Like just so happy that you guys were so excited about it. I really was. It's so crazy. And I was telling Charles later that night, like, I'm gonna randomly be watching collection videos. Somebody's gonna have the freaking Smokey Glow palette in their collection. I was like, that is just like the coolest feeling in the world. So anyway, I'm sorry I just got all sappy there at the end, but like that's like an Instagram versus reality that was like, I don't think my Instagram properly displayed how happy and excited I was about my life. I hope you guys like this video. I'm sorry if it was a really long and like rambly one, but I had a lot of fun just talking about stuff, revisiting certain things. A lot of fun for me sometimes when they're positive. Yeah, I hope you guys like this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, or just subscribe, or do neither. So just so happy you're watching me. Thank you so much for being here. My merch, I'm actually wearing my merch, along with GLOWMAS merch, which is going away January 1st. So if you wanted to buy that, this is kind of your last couple days. My social media and everything I'm wearing on my face will be linked down below, along with Ready to Glare's channel. Please go check her out. She's so amazing. And also down there will be a link to register to vote, right? You can click on that link, you can register to vote, and you can be part of your democracy. You can end 2019 making a change. And if you're not from the United States and that link does not apply to you, please make sure you're staying informed on what's going on in your part of the world, using your voice in a positive way, because the world absolutely needs more of that. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!